This is Ndtv, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta. This is the heart of the city of joy, and my guest today, the most distinguished son of Kolkata, or actually the most distinguished adopted son of Kolkata, Dominique Lapierre, author, philanthropist.
Thank you,
You've sold 100 million books, 10 crore?
Yes, thank you. Well, it's always for me an extraordinary joy to come back to Calcutta. You know, I feel that I'm a reincarnated, maybe a rickshawwala. Some point in some other incarnations, I used to be a rickshawwala in this city.
But with 10 crore legitimate copies sold of all your various books.
About also the epic of extraordinary people. This city, Calcutta, where we are here in this Victoria Memorial, there in the heart, is an extraordinary city. There's no such city in the rest of the world. And for me to spend 2 years here researching in a little locality, which I call the City of Joy, was an extraordinary experience in my life.
Yeah, because which other city would adopt a foreigner like you and actually treat it as its most valued son?
India. Just now, with a daughter.
Yes. In fact, you must be fascinated by the debate that's going on with Sonia Gandhi right now.
Absolutely. I think it's an extraordinary tale that only India could produce. I think it's a new chapter of the Mahabharata for future generations. This Italian girl coming to India, making this country our own. And what country? We are talking about one of the biggest, the second largest country in the world, 1,200,000,000 people. I think, you know, it is a fantastic, like a fairy tale.
But which side of the debate are you on? Let's start with the adopted daughter debate.
I am on the side of India. And I think that what's good for India is good for the world. And I'm very happy that Sonia has transferred power to one of the most respected men of this country. It's a great privilege for India to have such men as Manmohan Singh.
But would you have had any problems if Sonia had become Prime Minister? There are two views here. One view is she's a daughter-in-law of the nation. That is also Jyoti Basu's view. Now she's Indian. She has an Indian passport, yes. Indian citizenship. The other is that she was born overseas. How can this hurt India's self-respect?
Well, I think, you know, that, of course, if she would do any mistake, they would say this is an Italian mistake.
Right.
So I think she was very wise to transfer capacity to become Prime Minister to a very experienced man. And she's staying there. She's the president of the Congress, and she's going to be, you know, hand in hand with Mohan.
It's a bit like modern management, and promoters set up companies but give over management to professionals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they assess their performance at annual meetings.
But what a fascinating story, really a fascinating story, because I know a little bit this country. It's such a huge, enormous country with so many languages, castes, religion, divinities and all that, that the people of India would rally around a girl who was born north of Torino is something unique, you know. I mean, no scriptwriter, no novelist could invent such a thing. The readers would say that that's too much.
But you met her.
I had the pleasure to meet her when she was married to Rajiv, when he was Prime Minister. I've always had a great respect for the family. I have interviewed a lot Indiraji when I was researching for my book with Larry Collins called Freedom at Midnight, and we would meet every morning in her home to recapture the moments when she was the daughter of Nehruji in 1947, when it was such a crucial moment. You know, at some point she said, and you know, there was a telephone call in our house, and my father ran to the telephone, and he come back, and he said, Indira, Lahore is in flames. I mean, only, you know, you could understand what it meant for a man like Nehru and all this to see what was happening in the wake of partition. For me, it was a great moment to research with her, and then I met
Tell me some great recollection about Indira Gandhi, something that gives an insight into her character, mind, style.
She was a very open woman. She spoke beautiful French. Every time I would come to India with maybe 100 booksellers, we would visit her, and she would give us tea and all that, and she would talk with maybe a little bookseller from the south of France or from somewhere in Belgium. She was extraordinarily open, but she had this sort of vision that you could really, really see in the way she looked at you, in the way she thought of history. For a writer, for an historian like me, it was really gold, you know, to be able to go and see Indiraji to speak about the old times. So it was fantastic.
But Dominique, she did go very wrong also in the 70s.
I know. I mean, I was here at the time of emergency. And as a matter of fact, it was very strange because the book Freedom at Midnight had just come out in India.
Right.
And you know, and in a sense, it was the only way the Indian people could criticize something. They could write to the Times of India or to the Indian Express saying, how do those foreigners can write such things and all that. There were letters and letters about freedom at midnight. It was like, you know, those who could not really criticize the government.
Catharsis.
Catharsis, yes.
Yeah, so you became the punching bag.
Absolutely. Yeah,
No, but you see now you see this changing India. You see changing Kolkata.
Yes.
You see changing India. There's a buzz about India. You know,
Yeah.
when I carry an Indian passport now, I go to France, I go to Belgium, I go to
Absolutely.
Switzerland. The immigration fellow looks at me differently. In the old days, it was all suspicion, suspicion, suspicion. Now this has changed. Do you think it has changed too late? We've taken too long.
No, it's changing for the better, and I hope that now the changes, thanks to Manmohan Singh and people like him, will reach the people I work with in Calcutta. You know that now for 22 years I've had an enormous humanitarian action with the royalties of my
I believe you've invested as much as $8 million in
of
these
my
charities.
royalties, and we
Right.
have projects. We are curing tuberculosis. We are rescuing leper children from the slums. I have dug 543 tube wells of drinking water. And Shekhar, one tube well of drinking water in a village can change the life of 10,000 people. And I'm now even the admiral of a fleet of 4 hospital boats in the Sundarbans. And I must take you one day to the Sundarbans. You will see how remote this area is. There are 54 islands with 1 million people who are not inscribed on the maps of the world. But I have my cellular phone
What is
always
the noise
with me.
in your pocket?
This is my Calcutta mobile phone. I always have this little bell in my pocket. And when I travel abroad, you know, when I'm walking on Fifth Avenue in New York or on the
Champs-Élysées?
Champs-Élysées, and I see all these people who are preoccupied, they have their attaché case, they're going to conclude some deal. I hear the voice of the rickshaw pullers of Calcutta in my pocket, and they are my heroes. People standing on their feet who know how to smile, how to share, how to celebrate God. This resilience that I found in this country was acclaimed by the government here. I was made Citizen of Honor of Calcutta in 1985.
But there were protests as well when you made your film here.
Sure, I mean, there was always, because that's politics, you know,
Yes.
you cannot
Dominique
avoid
Lapierre,
that.
go back.
Yeah,
You're
go-
glorifying Calcutta's poverty.
It's never glorifying. I always have found in the poverty of a city like Calcutta so many positive values,
Right.
which are lessons to the world. I receive 170,000 letters, Shekhar, for the City of Joy, of people from all over the world thanking me to have given them a testimony on the capacity to make this beautiful
And I-
Tagore's line true. Adversity is big, but man is bigger
And
than
I believe we
adversity.
I believe we want to be known
I don't want to be
to history as the son of Kolkata.
I don't want to be known. I am happy that if I'm known, I have so many brothers and sisters here. And I've asked my wife that when I die, on my tombstone will be inscribed my name, my date of birth, my date of death, and the mention Citizen of Honor of the city of Calcutta.
But Dominique, you are such a good student of Indian history, Indian culture, Indian politics, starting with Freedom at Midnight. Don't you think we are also a land of lost opportunity? For 50 years, we let a country like, for example, China get ahead of us. We had no business to do so.
Well, you know,
What led that to happen?
a system which really, in a sense, killed the extraordinary values of the Indians to invent, to make, to export, to do things, because it was a system which prevented them, you know, to really do. You could only build so many scooters. You could only do that. And when all this was being freed, now the Indians are really showing their imagination, their capacity to be stronger than the others. And this is beautiful.
So all
Now
this-
we see Marutis on the streets in Paris.
Right. And Tata trucks, I believe.
And
Tata
Tata
buses.
trucks, French buses can be Tata trucks. This is extraordinary.
And there was no real justification for the xenophobia that went on. If foreigners come in, if FDI comes in, we will be, new colonialism will come in. And
no, I think that's past. That's
That's
way past. And even in a city like Calcutta, I've seen so many changes since I wrote The City of Joy. You know, at the time when I wrote The City of Joy, people were writing to the newspaper saying, let's make our city a city of joy. Now it has become to be a city of joy. I just wish, that more of this affluence now would reach the poor I'm working with, and
Right.
hopefully now with
Right.
the new
but,
government.
but you see the trickle down happening now.
Oh yes, absolutely, definitely.
Have you seen the left change?
Yes, oh sure, they have really adjusted to the world situation. You come to Calcutta now, and if you have a home somewhere, why don't you have a flyover to reach your home? Everybody's getting flyovers. This metro is one of the most beautiful metro in the world. Investments is pouring in. There's no load shedding in Calcutta, when in
So
the old time.
That's the question we raise. Around the world, where communism is now evolved, communists of yesterday have become social democrats of today.
Absolutely.
Do you see Buddhadev as one of those?
Sure, and Jyoti Basu also, and all those people, they really have adjusted. Of course, Calcutta or Bengal is the last place in the world where you see this hammer and this
Yeah.
sickle, whatever you call
right,
it,
right.
apart from Cuba and apart from North Korea. But this is a free state, a free country, a free city.
But this is not North Korea.
It's not North Korea, of course not. But still, I mean, this emblem,
Right.
which you think that since the wall of Berlin has fallen down, would disappear from the walls of the world, is still there.
How is Buddha different from communists of the past that you've seen here?
I think he's now a man in his generation. He realized that if he wants his state to become a powerful state, which Bengal can be, he has to change and adjust to the rules of globalization, to the rules of capitalism and all that.